Dear friends, one of the stereotypes of the UK is that we love to queue. However, recent research suggests that on average, the British person will stay in a queue for 6 minutes and then leave. And if that queue is longer than 6 people, they won't join it. Whether you are the average British person or a patient queuer, queuing has become part and parcel of our daily lives during the restrictions imposed on us due to COVID-19. Our weekly shop begins with a queue, quite often longer than 6 people, and quite often it takes longer than 6 minutes to get to the supermarket. However, my experience has been of patient, accepting people shuffling forward, prepared to wait. Quite a difference then to the instant society we've become used to. Adverts bombarding us with buy now, pay later. Bank loans at enticing interest rates. Payday loans for anybody. Our communication has become instant too. We no longer craft a letter. We send a text, missing out as many vowels as possible to make it quicker. Although for me that makes it longer because I never know which ones I can or can't miss out. We send an email and we know that when we push that button, that email is now on someone else's computer or tablet or phone, or their watch is pinged to tell them that they have an email from us, and we get disappointed if they don't reply immediately. Maybe one of the positives that we can take out of this time in lockdown is that we have been forced to wait. But more than that God is teaching us that waiting actually still is part of our faith. So as we still wait to gather in our churches, as we still wait to be able to welcome family and friends into our homes and greet them in the way that we would normally with hugs and kisses or handshakes, we hear the words from Psalm 40 and the psalmist who writes, "I waited patiently for the Lord." This is not a cry of anguish. This is a statement of deep faith. Because the psalmist knows that God will not forsake us. The psalmist knows that God is inclined to hear our cry. And so we are reminded that faith and waiting often go hand in hand. But we are not called to be passive in our waiting, shuffling forward like those people in the supermarket queue. We are called in faith to continue living the way God wants us to live. We are called in faith to continue to live by the statutes of God as we wait for God to hear our cry. We are called in faith to continue to proclaim to the world that we will live even as we wait by the ways of God and not the ways of the world. And we will not and we cannot believe that God has abandoned us. And so, if during lockdown we have felt that God has abandoned us, if during lockdown the pain of not being able to share with our brothers and sisters in our church buildings has meant that we have grown impatient, or that our self-isolation seems long and hard, then we stop and we hear the words of Psalm 40 again. I waited patiently for the Lord. And we commit ourselves to learn from God, to learn that waiting is part of faith. And in faith, we will wait patiently for God. And in faith, we will continue to live with lives full of praise. In faith, we will continue to live with hearts full of love for others. In faith, we will continue to live with our hands ready and willing to assist any in need. In love and in faith, with our mouths poised to speak out against injustice and ungodly behaviour. So in this time of waiting, let us rediscover what it means to wait patiently for God and realise that waiting is a faith discipline and not a British trait.